Yes, most of my hair is gone. It's gone, and I'm filled with moderate to severe regret. Hey Spuds, it's Jamie, how's it going? Welcome back to another video, first video on the channel, I don't know, but welcome either way, and welcome to Accidental Allies. Yes, I'm jumping straight in there. We are looking at those wonderfully wrong people who have tried to be horribly transphobic or homophobic. I think today's one is mostly transphobic with a bit of homophobia in there as well, maybe, possibly, I can't remember. But yes, we are looking at the people that have tried to be mean and have failed miserably. We love it. I mean, I don't love the fact that they were trying to be mean, but it's very funny that they couldn't. They tried and they failed. Accidental allies. Yes. But before we do get into the accidental allies, I want to talk to you about today's video sponsor, Raycon. I love my little pair of Raycon earbuds, and the time they come in most handy is when I'm cleaning the house. I honestly find it enjoyable to listen to music and tidy the house. I don't know what it is, it's just relaxing to me. And my Raycon earbuds are fantastic at blocking out the noise of the Hoover. I can pop them on noise isolation mode, but at the same time, if I am listening out for the doorbell for a parcel, I can pop them onto awareness mode if I need to. You just hold down R for 3 seconds and you can switch between the modes. And with custom gel tips for the perfect in-ear comfortable fit, they never fall out and they never get annoying or irritating in my little ear holes. It's great. Raycon also offer you premium audio quality for less. Pricing and tech has always been associated with you get what you pay for, basically, but Raycon is proving this statement wrong. They're offering earbuds for the same, if not better quality, but at half the price of other premium brands. That means you could have a pair and a spare of Raycons and still pay less than you would with some other more big name tech brands. You get all of this plus 8 hours of playtime with Raycon's everyday earbuds. So if you're interested, go click the link in the description box or go to buyraycon.com/Jammidodger to get 15% off your Raycon purchase. Now, on with the accidental allies. Men cannot be women, women cannot be men. It's weird we live in a time where this needs to be said. Well, I feel like transphobes are the only ones that need to understand that. A century of fighting for women's rights, and in 2023, the women who are being celebrated have penises. Oh, so you admit they're still women? You do accept that women can have penises. I appreciate that, thank you. Good. Get your own bathrooms. Trans men have no business in the women's bathroom. I would very strongly agree with that statement, to be honest. I'd feel very weird going into the women's bathroom. A TERF posted this against trans women, but it accidentally affirms trans men. They are men. No more lies. On a trans flag. Oh yes, I am a man. TERFs need to stop lying. And trans women are women, and so they were trying to be mean, but they have failed. This really stems from, like, it's a combination of this immense transphobia towards trans women that's very overt and out there, and then just completely forgetting that trans men exist. That does lead to a lot of accidental allyship, because yes, thank you, you have just affirmed the trans people who are trans men looking at this post. Are you saying they are men? You didn't specify who they are, so seeing as you've put that on a trans flag, I will just assume that you were talking about trans men. Thank you very much. I am a trans man, and yes, I am a man. I appreciate this. So my homophobic grandmother is knitting this for my baby cousins. LMAO, the homophobic grandmother knitted a trans flag for the baby cousins. I'm sure she's transphobic as well. Congratulations. That is like a perfect trans flag. Is there a subconscious trans acceptance going on? Because that's not just a little bit like the trans flag, that just is the trans flag. What is she knitting? A scarf? A little jumper? Some mittens? Trans men will never be women. Yes, thank you. That's what we've been saying this whole time. There are only 2+ genders. Yes, 2+. Plus. This is so allying in what they're saying. I'm struggling to believe that that is not their intention. Well done, yes. Trans men will never be women, and there are more than 2 genders. Thank you. Bro, go pray to God to save you. You're either, you're a male of female. Whatever you were born as, you are. You're either a male of female. I don't know what that is, but whatever you were born as, you are. Yeah, I was born, like, my gender, I've always been a man. I didn't change my gender. But trans people are not saying that we are changing who we are born as. It's just there's a little outside appearance changing that goes on, but it's not actually changing who we are and what we are. But also, I was born a baby. I don't think I'm a baby anymore. Poorly aged things. This is hilarious in hindsight. It matters not what someone is born, but what they grow to be. J.K. Rowling. You are what you're born. Like, you can't change what you're born. It's like, it's a big, like, anti-trans thing. It doesn't work for multiple reasons. One of which, the whole, like, yeah, I'm clearly not a 50 centimetre baby anymore, am I? I have teeth and hair. Oof. It's very sad what happened there, isn't it? Very confusing, very much odd. It's shocking when you read a lot of the messages like this, and you're like, how did that trajectory start and happen? And also, BTW, it's a little rude for you to call not having a gender identity a trans identify, don't you think? I don't identify as trans, nor do I identify with any gender. I think it's all BS and there isn't such a thing, so I'd appreciate you didn't put me in your boxes. I feel like they're trying to be anti-trans and, like, don't call me cis. I feel like that's where this is going. But they kind of summed up a gender. Like, if you read that and there weren't a few little bits and pieces in there, you'd maybe go, oh, this is somebody describing how it feels for them to be a gender. This is somebody trying so hard to reject trans people and be like, no, don't do that, and don't tell me what I am and what I'm supposed to be. This is actually how I feel. And then describing an identity that does sit under the trans umbrella. That's very interesting. That was a long thing to just try and say that you don't want people to call you cis. You don't belong in the girls' bathroom. You're not a girl. There's no such thing as transgender, get over it. Interesting capitalization, well done. He was born a girl, that's what trans man is. r/accidental ally. Territory of, like, born, okay, let's forgive that. So they're basically saying a trans man doesn't belong in the girl's bathroom. They're not a girl. Okay. Yes, accidental ally. To me, when people stand there and go, there's no such thing as transgender, I don't believe it exists. I feel like it would be just as sensible for me to say back, there's no such thing as hair. Everybody's bald. I don't think hair exists. That's how I see the world, and this thing that is very clearly real because people have hair and people are transgender, but this thing that is very clearly real, just because I don't believe in it, that means it doesn't exist at all. I don't like it, therefore it's not real. That's not how the world works. People being transgender is a thing that exists. There is scientific proof and medical boards support gender-affirming care and the existence of trans people, but you don't need that. All you need is the fact that there are trans people. And trust me, being trans is not something that people would choose. Trans men are not women. Trans women are not men. Oh, thank you. You don't choose your gender. God does. I mean, I don't believe in God, but I didn't choose my gender. It chose me. Are you seriously going to question what God made you? I'm not going to comment on somebody's personal beliefs and religious beliefs. They're not mine. I do not share the same religious beliefs as this person, but I didn't choose my gender, and they are correct in saying trans men are not women. I'm not a woman, and I did not choose to not be a woman. Yes, I did say that the right way around. There was the right number of negatives. I don't see how you can get rid of everything that makes you a person and still try to be one. Brutal, what? They/them, more like it, LMAO. Ooh, they're trying to be really hurtful here. It/its are some of the pronouns I use. Yeah, lol. Question mark. I use they, them, and it/its. No, you don't. What, LMAO? You'll never be a real woman. This person is just like, what else can I say to be offensive? Okay, thanks, I'm non-binary. You'll never be a real man. Yeah, I know. Okay, stop pretending that they're non-binary. You're trying to offend someone who's non-binary by telling them they'll never be a woman and they'll never be a man. You've just validated who they are. So you accept that they are neither a man nor woman. Great. Take me down to transgender city, where the chicks have dicks and the guys have titties. They tried to be rude, but it's funny. And you are saying that some women have penises and some men have boobs. Great, thank you. Little bit of an odd post to make, but we appreciate your support. They are not courageous transgender athletes. They are just boys beating up on girls. I really, it makes my blood boil. Like, transphobia makes my blood boil, but like the odd amount of hatred and the gross wording used to describe trans athletes, and this is towards trans women athletes, as you'll realise in a moment, just horrendous. And they should give their stolen awards back to women and apologise. Right, so what this actually is, 17k likes and none of you clowns even tried to do any sort of reserve. The transgender athlete in question is a trans man, as in FTM trans, right? And he wanted to compete in men's sports, but was forced by your cult to fight in women's sports, and now you're complaining. Clowns. This is quite beautiful, really. It's horrible where it's come from, but it is very poetic. And the fact that for such a long time, trans people and trans allies have been saying what transphobes are wanting and trying to get, and how they are being transphobic by saying trans women can't compete in women's sports and trans women can't go into women's bathrooms because their belief is that trans women are men, and they're very wrong in that. But by saying those things and then completely forgetting that trans men exist, what they are then doing is saying, well, trans men belong in women's sports and trans men belong in women's spaces like toilets. But then when that actually happens, as in this case, they realise how wrong it is for that to happen and how wrong it is for men, actual men, to compete against women in sports like this and to use women's spaces. They recognise that that should not be happening, and trans men are clearly men and should be competing with men and using the spaces that men use. They're so blinkered by this hatred towards trans women specifically, and I think they have to be, because if they start paying attention to trans men, then it completely breaks down that argument against trans women and just makes them look really even more silly. But yeah, often by the fact that they ignore trans men exist, they're accidental allies. A man has 2 X chromosomes. Oh, does he? While a female has an XY chromosome thing going on there. I maybe would have put the internet down for the day on that one. It's clear the point that they were trying to make, and they missed wildly. They've described the chromosomes the wrong way around for the point they wanted to make. So congratulations. You're both simultaneously an accidental ally, and you've just prove the point that you're going on trying to spew hate when you literally do not even know the very basics of what you're trying to talk about. So why would anybody possibly trust that you have any actual factual knowledge on the subject that you were trying to be an arsehole about? Well, because if you did have factual knowledge about it, then it would be very difficult to be an arsehole rather than just sitting there and going, I don't like trans people, which is what it really is. There's no reason to dislike trans people apart from fear and ignorance and bigotry. And look, it's one of my videos. It's an LGBT. I loved making this video, bisexual versus pansexual. With as much respect and love as possible, you'll never be a woman. Sweaty laugh face. Thank you. Thank you. But you were trying to be mean and say something that you didn't need to say. I'm a stranger on the internet to you. You don't need to say anything to me, especially not anything mean. And you started with as much respect and love as possible. I love you. I respect you. I want you to know these things. But oh my god, I just don't respect your identity or who you are. Unless you were going for a joking accidental ally thing. You're not transphobic. You know I'm a trans man. You accept me as a man. And this was a joke. That could be the case as well. If so, you got me. If not, thank you for the accidental allyship and the respect and love. If she is a girl, she's a girl. If he is a boy, he's a boy. Okay? Trans women are women. Trans men are men. Lol, right? And they think they're fooling people. Think you may be confused by what the trans descriptor means in relation to women are women and men are men. For example, they're a man that's trans, so still a man really. r/accidental ally. Man equals man, woman equals woman. I don't get what's wrong. Nothing from the way I read it, but would you clarify what was meant by so still a man really? Yeah, like if they have the male genitalia they were born with, they're a man still. Alright, so you are confused. Trans men are men who were not previously considered men, typically assigned female at birth, AFAB. Same for trans women who were typically assigned male at birth, AMAB. Okay, so I see you are having confusion regarding the situation. Men are men and women are women. Oh, they went on no journey at all. They were just saying the same thing over and over again. Yeah, men are men, women are women, regardless of the type of man or type of woman they are. Trans men are still men. Cis men are men. Like, come on. Men are men, women are women. Trans people will agree with that statement. And non-binary people are non-binary. That's just the only bit you were missing. The way to a man's heart is through his stomach, unless he's a vegetarian. Then you can get there through his vagina. I mean, thank you for admitting that some men have vaginas. Appreciate it. But at the same time, not all men with vaginas are vegetarian. That's where you're a little bit wrong. Cis, I think they mean cis woman. I'm a woman. Trans men are not women. I can accept the trans lifestyle, but no, you're not a woman. I create, nurture, and work really hard to be respected. As a pregnant woman, it pisses me off to hear this. Trans men don't have the right. Trans men are men. Why do people go on these odd rants? I accept the trans lifestyle. Being trans is not a lifestyle, but you can't say that you accept it. You know, if we ignore the fact that it's not a lifestyle, you can't say I accept this thing, this way that you live, and then say a lot of other words that clearly contradict that statement of acceptance, but also display that you don't know anything because you're being an accidental ally when you don't mean to be, so thank you. Bruh. I don't care about your silly LGTV pronouns. There are only two genders. Trans women are women and trans men are men. No one is special. Bridget was created as a guy and is still a guy. Either I'm just too tired and I've been making this video for too long, or that just was a hot mess. Or maybe both. I don't know. So there's a couple images of a kid who started hormone blockers, which looks like an appropriate time to start hormone blockers, and they're completely reversible. Okay, cool. I'm really glad that a trans kid is getting gender affirming care. And somebody replied saying, "This is sad that these parents are ruining their daughter's life." The child in question is a trans girl, just for anybody wondering. "God made her a female and she will have to suffer a lot to change what God made her to be. You parents need to be her protector, not aid in ruining what she will later regret." Okay. Oh, it literally says daughter MTF in the original tweet. There's so many examples of transphobes being accidental allies because they literally don't know anything about trans people. And that is where all this fear and hatred comes from, because they don't sit down to just take a moment, take a breath and go, maybe I should Google something. Maybe I should talk to a trans person. Maybe I should hear what a trans person has to say. Maybe I should take 5 minutes out of spewing hate to actually learn what it means to be trans. You know, just a couple minutes, just, you know, take a break from the hatred and see where it takes you. That is all the accidental allies for today. It really doesn't surprise me that there are so many, because when you don't know anything about something but you feel like you have an authority to speak on it and spread hate about it, you are occasionally, quite often, going to say something that is just the opposite of what you mean because you don't understand what you're talking about. And great, keep doing it, transphobes. We love to make these videos. Yeah, if you like this video, think about giving it a thumbs up and subscribing if you want to, but no pressure. And yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Much love. Bye.